Hello children, welcome back again. Now this is second video wherein I'm going to explain you this non-fiction page wise. Okay, please listen to it, and even you have few words. Okay, I would suggest you that you would like go through those words. It will be easy for you to understand. Okay, okay. My dear kids, this I would be sharing. Okay, as a quick recap for your reference. Okay, and the form of PDF. Now welcome back. Now students, see, this is the first page. Now here it is written in section 2, seeing fairies, and this is non-fiction. See, each one of us has our own fantasies. We all know that. Imaginations, we all do. We dream of our own stories too when we are children, and even sometimes we role play them. Sometimes these fantasies and stories take on the nature of popular pranks. Actually, what those sisters did, it was a kind of a prank only, and turned into hoaxes. But not before becoming a legend, because this story has become a legend. In this story, you explore a similar legend that created some sensation among the people in England in the 1920s before fizzling out. Now, the legend, this is I'm going to explain here, you will get to know everything. Well, there were two girls, as you all know, 16 years old Elsie and 10-year-old cousin Frances Griffin, who lived together where in Cottingley, on the outskirts of Bradford, West Yorkshire, England. In July 1917, Elsie borrowed her father's camera, okay, to take a picture which was developed later in her father's dark room. Yes, all those pictures were developed there. Elsie's parents were in for a great surprise, as the picture she had taken was of Frances Griffin, a troupe of fairies dancing. Okay, they were dancing in front of her. Now, let's find it out what we have in the second page, because the most important part of this non-fiction will be, you will find it in your second page only. So here I start with the second page. Well, now Elsie's father did not think that the photograph was real, because initially he did not believe. He found it like it's not authentic and it's fake. But somehow you can say that their mother believed. Okay, her mother believed. So Frances took another photograph that you have already seen in the previous presentation, in previous video, 3 photographs with Elsie playing with a gnome. Later, these photographs were published and even created quite a sensation. When the famous author, okay, who is that author? Then the famous author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is a creator of Sherlock Holmes. What he did, he printed the first 2 pictures in Stand magazine, when in 1920. He believed that fairies did exist, and the photographs caused a worldwide sensation. Now, you can say that, and the results of, you can find it out, it's all public, because he believed that there was the existence of fairy. When in 1920, Sir Arthur arranged for Elsie and Frances to once again be given a camera that we have already done. After that, when second time the camera was being arranged, okay, they got the chance to click the photo of 3 fairies. Okay, and then again also more photos. Sir Arthur later published these 3 photos where in Stand magazine, and in 1922 wrote a book called The Coming of the Fairy. Now, what happened next? That is still going to find it out. That's the rest of the story. Well, the legend of the Cottingley fairies has been told in a number of popular magazines and children's books. Over the years, some people believed that those pictures were genuine, and some believed that it was fake. In the 1960s, if you find that when the photographs were being examined, okay, when you can say when the even see, at that time also came when the authenticity of those pictures, okay, were in question, and it went to examine further and questioned more. At that time, Elsie was very vague, means very unclear. She was not very much clear, and changed her answers several times. whenever she was being questioned, so she changed the answers several times before the truth was revealed. Now, because she was trying to avoid that, okay, but what is truth? It has to come out. She meant that the fairies mortified. My God, was taking the pictures of what came to her imagination. What it was just an imagination. Okay, and that they have given a shape of their imagination. In 1971 on BBC TV in England, she said that she would leave the subject open. Now, what do you mean by that subject leave or open? Means it's open for discussion, interpretation. Even she did not want to explain it. Okay, it's written here. She did not want to explain it because when she was being questioned that, did you in any way fabricate those photographs? So initially she was like trying to hide the truth. Okay, and she said that it was just her imagination. It was just an imagination which she had given it a shape. Well, in 1976, they were interviewed and were asked that if they had fabricated those photographs. Elsie said that she surely did not fabricate the photograph. She also said that she would she would question the interviewer, would tell her how they did it. Okay, instead of telling herself, she was asking the question to the interviewer. She asked the interviewer to remember that Elsie was 16 and Francis was only 10 at the time of clicking the photograph. In 1982, okay, in 1982, Geoffrey Crowley, he is then the editor of the British Journal of Photography, examined what he thought were the original. Initially, what he thought that those pictures were original negatives, but he felt that the Midge style camera was used. At that time, it was a Midge style camera that was used by the girls. Okay, when the negatives were closely examined, okay, when the you can say when those negatives were examined closely, it showed the fairies more defined. The popular version of the photos that was being published in the press and books was therefore proved to be fake. Because when the negatives were examined, the figure of fairies and the space stood them up with with the hat pins and all. She used different kind of things to make it more realistic and convincing. Well, at last, in an article on March 18, 1983, Francis, now 73 years old, admitted that the pictures were fake. Okay, it was just the example of the fits of their imagination. Whatever came to their mind, whatever comes to their mind, they had just created it. In 1971, on BBC TV in England, she said that she would leave the subject open, but obviously she said that, and the LC confirmed that it had all been a hoax. She had drawn, okay, she had drawn and cut out the figures of fairies and stood them upright, okay, with some hat pins, and what she did, photographs, and she pasted those photographs. Francis, with that, they had been retouched, just a simple retouch to make the fairies more defined. Now see, my dear kids, you can variable related, it's very easy, okay, and it's quite interesting also. That how you can say that how the small girls, okay, they just created their imagination. It was just a simple prank, but it became a legend and it created a sensation, that to not sensation, that worldwide sensation. I hope that you have enjoyed. Now let's see what's the next in the slide. Now see, this is the comprehension skills. Okay, I will suggest you that you would try by yourself first. Question number A, you will have to do in your book only. B, and you can find more exercise here. Think and answer on horse and vocabulary. Try to find out the answers by your own. And study skills, there you can find the pronunciation and okay, there you can pronunciation hard and soft G, like photograph, came, post, globe, where we are giving more stress on which G, short, now, my dear kids, these things, exercises we are going to do in the next week on Thursday. And I hope that we'll meet again in the Zoom session. For it, I would suggest you that you try to find out the answers by your own. It would be easy for you. So, till then, stay safe and stay blessed. Bye bye.